So there's a story in the Bible about a man who, for 35 years, I believe, was lame, like paralyzed, kind of, and from the waist down, I think. And legend has it that he was sitting by the pool of Bethesda, and that if when the angel comes and stirs up the water, that the first person who gets in the pool will be healed. Now here he is, decades later, still trying to be the first one to get into the pool, so that when the angel stirs it up, that he would be healed. And then Jesus comes along and asks him if he would like to be healed, and he keeps saying, yeah, but I can't get to the water. When it's stirred up, everyone else gets there before me, and I have no one to help me into the pool. And there's so many lessons we can learn from this story. But what I realized lately is that we all are starving for a breakthrough. We're all starving for that thing that we believe that God promised us. Maybe it's a healing. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's to walk in your calling more, to rise up in a position at work or whatever, to get some kind of blessing that you really believe God has planned for you even before time began. And we know that the promise is there, and then we try to get it. We want to get it, and we think in this way, like this man at the pool of Bethesda, that if I could just be the first one, if I could just be the first one into the water, if I could beat everyone else around me, then I will have made it. Then I will be successful. And then I will get my breakthrough. And this is how this paralyzed man, lived for decades, trying to get his healing, to get his breakthrough in that way, by beating everyone else to the spot. And he never got it. And for us, it's the same. It could be the same thing, or the same way, is that we think, well, if I could just be better than Johnny at playing the guitar, then I will have success in my ministry. Or then I will have success on stage, and I will have made it. And we end up judging by looking around us. And we end up being motivated by what we see and not by faith. We're motivated by competition and comparison, and judging the standard of our success based upon comparison and competition. And that's how the world does it. But it is not so with us. When we strive to be first among each other, we become last. And that striving, that anxiety and fear-driven motivation that motivates us to get our breakthrough, to get our victory, that motivates us to say, well, if I just try this, if I just try that now, no, if I try this, maybe there's this other thing I can try, and maybe if I ask this person for help and how they're doing it, maybe I could do it just like them, and I could get there. Like the guy at the pool of Bethesda, he said, I have no one to help me get into the water. No one will help me. And we sometimes we spend so much time thinking and trying to figure it out on our own, how we're going to do it, how we're going to make God's plans come about, how we're going to contrive our own breakthrough. If we just try harder, if we would just think smarter, if we could just be better than everyone else around us, then we've won, right? But it's not true. The man was never healed that way. And Jesus comes along And he says, listen, the only way that this will come to pass is if I do it. Jesus says, come to me. I can give you all that you need. And in this time, when we don't see the things happening that we need to see happen, that we know are supposed to happen, that God promised to happen, we gotta stop running with our own mind, after our own understanding, in the comparison and competition and fear, and just come to Jesus. Because he's there and he's saying, I know you want these works to come to pass. I know that you need them to come to pass because you want to be a good and faithful servant. But you got to come to me. You can only do it with me. Apart from me, you can do nothing. And all of the trials, all of the oppression, all of the pain and the sufferings are allowed to get you pushed closer to Jesus and relying on him and him alone. And we do need help from each other. We do. We cannot forsake that. But unless you have Jesus as your first and you're coming to him to receive the indwelling, to receive what you need in that moment, then he's not pleased with it. You know, and in the last time that Jesus spoke to the disciples, after or right before he ascended, after he resurrected, but before he ascended into heaven, Jesus was telling Peter how when he would get older, they would take him away against his will and he wouldn't be able to do anything about it. And he was speaking about Peter's death, that he was going to be martyred for his name's sake. And Peter said, but Lord, what about so-and-so? What about them? What's going to happen to them? And he was talking about John, the beloved apostle, who was right next to them. And Jesus said, what is it to you if I keep him here a little longer? If I don't have him die of martyrdom? And Jesus said to Peter, but you follow me. And that's the same message God's giving to all of us. Yes, we are a family and we're all going in the same direction, same place. And we all need each other's help and we cannot stop relying on each other for help. But Jesus is reminding all of us, you follow me personally. He is the way. Jesus is your way back to the Father. And you must know him personally. And so praise God. Thank you, guys.